Hello, welcome to Malkia Talks. Today we are getting back to the cooking. Yes, I am doing my first dish of 2021, and because it's very cold out there right now, I thought we would kick it off with Vanin's hot fish stew. Now this stew, you will see that Vanin cooks whilst awaiting for the big departure from Ebou Dar, and that's all I'm going to say about that, so I don't throw out any spoilers. But yeah, we're going to get cooking on this, and it's very, very simple, very, very easy. And I've done it in the style that I feel Vanin would probably do it. So we'll crack straight into it. As you can see here, I've got all my ingredients. So first up, we've got some lovely bell peppers. I've got yellow peppers and red peppers. Fabulous. I've got plenty of garlic here. When it comes to using garlic, use as much garlic as you want to use. I'll throw in a whole bulb. Some people, a couple of cloves is good for it. Whatever you think is enough garlic, put that in. Got some chilies here, make it nice and obviously it's a hot fish stew, so we need to make it hot. Obviously, we've got some fish. I've got some lovely salmon here that is, English rub is ethically sourced from Scotland. Some lemon for garnish, and then we've got some spices, just some paprika and cumin to kick it off there. So we'll get started. You need to put a little dab of oil in your pan, warm that up, and we are going to cook down very, very slowly the garlic and the chilies. Soften those up a little bit, and then we're going to throw in the bell peppers, and again give that about 5-10 minutes, soften that all down, just to make that tasty and still got a little bit of bite to it. Okay, so the oil is nice and warm now. We're going to throw in some garlic. Nice little bit of sizzle going on there, and we're going to throw in the chilies. Now I like to throw in the chilies early because I want to get the flavor going as soon as possible. This is meant to be a hot fish stew. You can throw them in when you do the peppers instead, so don't be afraid to do that. I don't want to overcook these, so I'm just going to do them on a low heat just to get that garlic reducing a little bit, and just the softening of it, the flavor coming out. You don't want to burn your garlic, because when you burn garlic, it tastes fucking disgusting. So, just get that going slowly. One thing I had missed on the ingredients list, you need yourself some chopped tomatoes. Now, you don't have to buy a tin of chopped tomatoes, although I think these are perfectly fine. You can just take 2 or 3 nice-sized salad tomatoes, plum tomatoes, whatever you like, cherry tomatoes even. They will look great too. We are going to come into spring eventually. It's very cold out there now, but spring will come. You can chop in some cherry tomatoes. But yeah, I'm just going to use a nice easy peasy tin of chopped ones there. The aromas I'm starting to get out there, so I'm smelling a bit of heat from the chili. I'm smelling that lovely garlic. So at this stage, I'm going to throw in the peppers. Get that all in there. I am going to crank the heat just a little bit more, just because I want to get those peppers going. And this, ladies and gents, probably going to take you, I would say, a good sort of 5 minutes or so to get through this stage, possibly even up to 10, depends how high you have it. Don't have it all the way up, because you're just going to burn everything before you've softened them down. I still want to have a little bit of crunch to mine. This is meant to be a very quick dish. So I'm going to give mine about 5 minutes, sort of just over a medium heat, to get that effect. And then we're going to add the rest of the dish, the rest of the items to the dish. It's going to be very, very simple. So we'll bring you back in just a second. Okay, so we've given this a good sort of 5 minutes or so. I can feel as I'm stirring, the peppers have softened a bit. I want mine quite crunchy. If you want yours quite soft, keep cooking them a few minutes longer until you get almost to the texture that you want. Don't be afraid to try a piece of pepper, obviously, as you go, it makes sense. But at this stage, we're going to add in the chopped tomatoes, and we are going to add in the spices. So put that all in there. I always do the tiniest little bit of water, run around the side of the tin, get out all the juices. Lovely. Now, you want about a teaspoon of cumin and half a teaspoon of paprika. For me, I'm always a fan of just you know, eyeballing it, but that's just me. You know, I play around in kitchens. That's kind of what I do. So I'm by no means an expert, please. I'm not Jamie Oliver or Gordon Ramsay or you know, Michelin star worthy or anything of those natures. But I have a vague idea of how my stuff works. So, you know, I tend to eyeball it. By all means, get a teaspoon, get a measure, and, you know, do that stuff there. But we're going to mix that all in. Just make sure I get it around, because where I've shook it, it's going around the sides. Oh, and you will be getting the aromas of the cumin and the paprika coming out there. I've also seasoned it just prior to this stage. That looks fabulous. Okay, so I'm just going to, again, turn that down to a lower heat. I turned it up high when I threw in the chopped tomatoes because it will be cooler. Turn that down to a sort of medium heat. I just want to, again, simmer this for a couple of minutes. And then I'm going to be adding in the fish. Cook the fish through, and then we're going to be serving up. It is as simple as that. This dish almost took more time to prep than it has to cook. That's how simple this is. So if you're not a speedy chopper, this might be a lot to prep. And then you're like, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on how much you want to cook each time for. Suddenly, you know, you've got the dish there. But if you're very fast at prep chopping, perhaps you even bought pre-chopped vegetables, heaven forbid, but, you know, some people do those things, then you can very simply just, you know, put this dish in. The garlic, if you want to speed that up, crushed garlic, you can buy garlic that's pre-peeled. Don't think anything wrong with that really, but you've got to use it quick, obviously. But yeah, garlic, you could just, you know, quite simply peel it. There's many techniques out there. I'm a fan of the slightly crush it and then just, you know, top and tail, and it tends to come off. Can be fiddly doing the garlic, but, you know, such is life. And but you could just put that into a crusher, crush it under your knife, roughly chop it up, throw it in. I don't see Vanin sitting there for hours prepping this dish. You know, he's a scout. He's got lots to do. So, you know, I don't think it's, you know, you don't have to go too detailed on the prep. The peppers are very much chopped roughly because I feel the Vanin would have roughly chopped them. Same with the garlic. But yeah, so this is now simmering away. Oh, the flavors I'm getting from that are fantastic. Let's have a little bit of a try. Beautiful. Got a very subtle warmth to it. The chilies will continue to come out. Might add a bit more cumin, actually. This is the stage where if you want to add any more of the spices, you go for it. Just needs a little bit more spice. Beware, the longer you cook it, the more warmth you'll get out of these items. But this is the stage where we're going to add our fish. And again, just pop that in there. Separate my fish apart. And you just want to cook this literally, depending on how thick your fish is. I've done sort of chunks of the salmon, but you want to let this cook for 2 to 3 minutes. If you've got very, very small pieces, sort of 4 to 5 if they're a tad longer. I'm going to add just a splash more liquid. This is thickening up a lot more than I expected. You can already see the salmon starting to turn on the outside there where it's cooking. You just want to be gentle as well at this stage, particularly if you're using very flaky fish. You can use any fish you want as well at this stage, by the way. When I did a test run of this dish, I used some rainbow trout because that was on offer in my local supermarket. And I thought, let's give that a go. Sounds like a good dish to me. So I gave that a go. And yeah, it was fabulous. But I've gone for a bit of salmon this time because it just, you know, why not try it out with different fish? But whatever fish you enjoy, you go for a white fish, darker fish, lighter fish, whatever you enjoy. And you can see this being made with cod very easily. Alternatively, you could substitute, if you're not, it's like, oh, I don't like fish, you could substitute this for chicken. And all I would say is throw the chicken in when you do the peppers, because that way the chicken will have cooked fully by the time you get onto this stage. And still stew it a little bit, let it sit there with some liquid. and the peppers and the tomatoes and everything else, because you still want to stew it a little bit. You won't need the lemon, obviously. If you want to add any herbs to this dish, you could be throwing in, with the chicken, you could throw in almost any herb you'd like. Probably a bit of basil might work quite well. But with the fish, you could throw in some coriander. What is that called in America? I forget what that's called in America. But you could throw in coriander. You could throw in a bit of thyme. Thyme would work lovely with this dish as well, depending on how much of the spices you put in. Tweak it as you like. If you're not going to put many spices in, you're like, I don't want it to be too spicy, I'm going to throw in lots of herbs instead. Throw in a good mix of herbs. I can see Vanin kind of working in terms of the flavors of what he's adding to this. I can see Vanin working with just whatever's to hand. So a bit of garlic, bit of onion, some peppers, selection of herbs, some tomatoes, bit of liquid. Just added some water to give it some consistency, and just stew it down for an extra 5-10 minutes. Don't see anything wrong with that at all. It's going to work lovely. So I think we are almost there. So I am going to let this just finish off. I'm going to turn it down basically to its lowest setting. And I'm going to make myself a cup of CAV while that finishes off, and we can enjoy the fabulous smells floating around my kitchen right now. So back in a moment. Welcome to CAV Chat. It's great to have you here. My first CAV Chat of 2021, which I'm really looking forward to. But first, let's enjoy a little bit of CAV. Can't go wrong with a good cup of CAV. I hope you're liking my new mug. So this was made for me by a friend, sent it to me as a Christmas present. We have the lovely myself and, it's just a little bit of glare there, but myself and Nag enjoying a CAV Chat. You don't normally see the two of us together, but on this occasion you can. But yeah, this is a fabulous mug. It's got my logo on the other side, and I really do enjoy this. If you'd love to have a mug like this, you can visit my merch stores and find them depending on where you are, and enjoy a cup of CAV with myself and Nag at the same time. But love a good cup of CAV. So what are we going to talk about this week in CAV Chat? Well, I'm going to talk about what's coming up for my channels. So I have a new project coming up with some musicians where I hope to do some more narrations, have a lot of fun there. And I'll be mixing it up with the cooking. So I'll do a couple of cooking and a couple of narrations a month is my goal in terms of videos. But some really exciting things happening for the podcast. If you haven't checked out my podcast, it is a spoiler podcast 99% of the time. There's a couple of non-spoiler ones in there that you can check out. But I've got a couple of really fun upcoming sort of events. So first off, for Valentine's Day, I will be doing a live shipping episode in my Discord server with Master of the Deck, where we will throw 30, 40 names in a hat, some of them weird and wacky, some of them just the regular characters, Draw 2 names out, and then we will try to make a plausible relationship out of that. Don't know how well that's going to go. We could end up with something very bizarre, like 2 characters that don't even enter the same country, let alone at the same time. We could have, weird and wacky things like the Golem trying to be someone paired with that. Who knows? We could have Tuan and Elida. I mean, I don't really see those 2 people having a relationship, but we'd have to make something work. So that's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be live recorded in my Discord server. Date to be confirmed, but it's either going to be Friday the 5th or Saturday the 6th of February. So I have time to edit it and release that for Valentine's Day episode. But yeah, really looking forward to that. And at the end of the month, I will be releasing a wonderful, wonderful episode. Myself, Vance, and Zool, we previously did an episode on the podcast talking all about real-time pronunciations, spellings, how things make sense and don't make sense. Well, we're expanding upon that in terms of, the audiobook worlds and stuff. And I'm very, very pleased to announce that we have the fabulous Kate Redding and Michael Kramer joining us on that episode to talk about narrations, audiobooks, the experience of reading, transferring a book from print to audio, the processes, and just having a great time. So, so it'll be coming out on the last Friday of the month. So please go over to my podcast. Just search Mount Kia Talks, Wheel of Time Theory podcast if you want to type the whole thing in. Any good podcasting station, and you will see it there. But yeah, so a couple of fun things coming up there. What's happening with the channel? One last thing that's happening is at the end of the month on the 31st, Sunday the 31st, I will be hosting a readathon. So Jesse from Another Turning Podcast is doing a waterthon, readathon, sort of book reading sprints thing this month. Lots of people are getting involved. Riddimer's there, Alex from Hero's Journey. There's been some other people hopping in and out. The list is a lot of fun. So I'm not 100% sure if everybody is on there, but I know it's all going to be very entertaining. So I'm taking a slot myself. I've taken the last day of the month. No pressure, Rob. And we'll be doing a readathon. So yeah, details of that will appear on the page. Keep an eye out for them and come and join us on the 31st. For a bit of a reading sprint and a book discussion. But that's all of CAV Chat today. Like, I'm not going to dig into anything. I recently did some fun stuff on the podcast where I decided that the water bond is a creation of the shadow. But again, you'd have to go to the podcast to check that out. But yeah, all my details of what I'm up to, where you can go and see things and find things is in the show notes, the description to the video. So please check that out. And yeah. CAV Chat, we'll see you again soon. Let's get back to plating. Okay, so look at that, fabulous. It's had its few minutes, just very, very low simmering away. And I think we are ready to serve. So look at that. Fabulous. Let's get it going. So mine's quite liquidy, but you did see me add more liquid to it because it was getting too thick for how I wanted it. But that is just my personal preference. You don't have to have that. You can have that quite thick if you'd like. You can add plenty of color into this dish as well. Okay, so don't be afraid to do that. You could add other greenery. If you've added herbs, that's going to make a difference, obviously. And voila. One hot fish stew as made by Vanin. Look at that, fabulous. Smells amazing. So let's give this a try. Take off my garnish. That was mostly just for visual. Do squeeze the lemon on. So you're not going to get a lot out of a slice like this. So, you know, do some wedges, but let's squeeze a little bit on anyway. Lovely, because that's always going to go well with fish. Let's give this sucker a try. So, nice bit of fish. Let's make sure I get some veggies in there. Mmm. That is beautiful. The fish is just flaking apart so softly when I went in to take a bite. It just broke apart, and it was wonderful. And I say that, and now these pieces aren't. Love that. The joys of recording it and just seeing how it works out. But the flavor is, you can smell it. The lemon juice is a beautiful little add into it. Plenty of crunch in the peppers there, which is what I wanted. And the salmon. That is amazing. Loving that, loving that. Very much enjoyed that dish. Didn't take very long at all to make. Actually, Vanin just making that casually, chopping away in the stables, or, you know, near the kitchens, wherever he's chosen to put himself up out of the way. He can watch the world go by. And yeah, 15, 20 minutes, and you've got a wonderful dish there. So that is all from me today. I hope you've enjoyed seeing me make Vanin's hot fish stew. Next up, for cooking-wise, I'm going to try and make plum punch. Not completely from scratch, but pretty much from scratch. I'm not going to brew the alcohol myself, but otherwise I'm making it from scratch. So I think that's going to be amazing. That's going to be a fun occasion. Maybe get a little bit drunk in the process. Who knows? But yeah, come back and join me for that. But until next time, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you like what I do, please, the best way to support the channel and all my work is to visit my Patreon and join my family there. Beautiful benefits and wonderful people you can engage with. So please consider joining me. But until next time, guys, it's Malkia Talk signing off. So I'm just going to say, eat well and wake.